appreciated hearing you guys sing back there. I like to sing, I like to worship, I like music, and I like that you guys like it too. So I hope you guys are awake right now. You didn't stay up too late, braiding each other's hair, talking about boys. I'm talking to you, Josh and Sam. You guys brought your Bibles, open them up. Get out your notes page. Get out a pen. Like I said last night, if you're not used to taking notes, try something new. You should all have that stuff because you prepared for your quiet time. So in case you missed it last night, because like I said, you're making googly eyes at boys, Malik. I don't know what it was like in your cabin last night, but it was popping off in the junior high cabin. Can I say popping off? Can I pull that off? Probably not. No, it's alright. It's fine. It got weird. Let's just say that. It got weird. So I hope it got weird for you too. Hope you guys had a good time. So we talked about it last night. The theme this year is what? New. Not V, right? It's new. So the theme this year is new, and we talked about not just things that were kind of new, but things that were brand new, right? So when we get things, when we follow Christ, Christ gives us some things that are brand new when we decide to make Him our Lord. You guys like brand new things? We talked about some of them last night. Like we talked about like brand new clothes, brand new car. What is it that you like about new things? Like specifically?
Not worn out.
They're clean, they're not worn out. They're what?
They smell good.
They do, they smell good. They work better. For me, I love electronics because I can, open it up and I can set them up anywhere that I want. I don't have to clear anybody else's junk off of it. And I don't know if you guys like I have my desktop, I need it clear. And every time I use somebody else's computer and they have folders on their desktop, I'm like, I just want to dump it all in the trash. But when you open up a brand new laptop or a brand new tablet, you're like, ooh. I get to put my name in it, it's my email, I'm not dealing with anybody else's stuff. And I like electronics, but I love that you said that they smell new, because I love new books. Yeah. Do we have any readers in here? Oh, thank goodness. Only at school? Oh man, there's a whole world out there. I love to read, alright? I really like reading. And one of the great things about books and new books is the smell of new books. I like the smell of old books too, but usually that makes me sneeze. But if you guys smell, just go to the bookstore, okay? When you get back and get home, go to Barnes & Noble, go to a bookstore, order something off Amazon, and just open up the book in the middle of it and just smell it.
Yummy.
All right? Yeah. It smells incredible. And if it's a hardback book, I love that the binding is still looking new. But I also love that when you get a softback, you know how you flip through it and you fan the pages? That still works. After a while, some of the pages are bent, and kind of one of the pages, it goes out like this anyway when it's just at rest. But when it first comes, it's really compact and you get to fan through them. I love that, and I can't tell you why. It's just, I love that about new things. I like the way that it kind of has that new feel to it. And last night we talked about a new attitude. We talked about having a new nature. And there are actually two newish words that we looked at last night. We looked at that really weird word that was ananastuste. I know, it sounds like you're stuttering when you say it. It's ananastuste, which means to be refurbished, or to be restored, or repurposed. And after that, we were renewed. We became a brand new creature. We had a brand new nature. And I haven't told you what that word is, and I'm not going to tell you this time either. You're going to have to hold on until tonight. Oh, I know. You're going to be thinking about that while you're playing games. I know. You'll be like, I'm swimming, but I'm really thinking about what's that word. So I'll tell you tonight. I promise. But that word, it keeps popping up. It pops up in all four scriptures that we're going to take a look at. All four things that we get for being in Christ, we get to be brand new. So we're going to take a look at another one of those this morning, 2 Corinthians 5:16. So if you got your Bibles, flip through, fan the pages. Maybe open it up and smell it a little bit. Smell what 2 Corinthians smells like. 2 Corinthians 5, what's it smell like? Does it smell good? Does it smell like your bug spray from your bag? I got some boys over here that probably smells like Axe body spray. 5:16, it says this. So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. We have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. At one time, we thought of Christ merely from a human point of view. How differently we know him now. This means that anyone who belongs to Christ, here we go, anyone that belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone and the new life has begun. The old life is gone and the new life has begun. And are we talking about it's new to me, or are we talking about brand new? Brand new. You guys can talk back to me, feel free. I expect a hey girl back there. You go, girl. You go. Hey girl. Alright. So we're talking about something brand new. Something that I told you last night I like to call it spanking new, right? It's so fresh that it's popping up. It's brand new. You can still sell it on eBay because it's still in its original packaging new, right? Like it hasn't lost the new smell. And that verse actually, or that word actually pops up in this verse twice. You get to be a new person and you get a new life. And I don't want you to get distracted. A lot of times we read the Bible and we really don't use very good investigation skills, okay? When we read the Bible, we just kind of take what's obvious. So last night I had you write a math equation to get back into the swing of school spirit because I'm kind of a nerd and like I said, I'm like your 35-year-old grandpa. I like it to be a little cheesy. So this morning, we're not going to do math. Yes. There you go. We're going to do science. Yes. I got some scientists in the house? Yeah, okay. Everybody else is like other people just gave me dirty looks. Okay, so we're going to do a little scientific method. You guys remember the scientific method? All right, good. So, systematic observation. If you want to write down, you can write this down. That's great. That's good stuff. Systematic observation. Systematic, you spell it S-Y-S-T-E-M-A-T-I-C. Systematic. System and then attic. Without the T. Systematic observation. And then measurement. So you observe something and then you measure it. And then you experiment. Systematic observation, measurement, experiment, and then the formulation, testing, and modification of hypothesis. You can just write hypothesis. We observe something, we measure it to get a control group, then we experiment with it, and then we formulate our hypothesis. Which is to say, basically, that this is what scientific method is. You look at something, and then you go, I think I know how it works, and then you poke it to see if that's true. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to observe something, and we're going to poke it and see if it's true, and see if we can get a little bit more data and a little bit more information. So, write down this first observation. I think we're going to put it on the screen. When I belong to Christ, I am a brand new person. I can observe that because it's in the text. Okay? That's what it says, word for word. Anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone and the new life has begun. So the word picture here is actually pretty cool. Has become actually is the word that it means to emerge. Like a special little butterfly emerges from its cocoon, okay? And you shed your old life. And when it's kind of like the word picture there, it would be like if you were a snake. And you shed your skin, okay? So you shed your old life. You shed your cocoon. And you emerge to have a new life. Just like the special little butterfly that you are. What I think is really sad is that I think most Christians go to their grave not grasping this concept. So you guys have a little bit of an advantage. I'm telling you now when you're in your teens, right? But I kid you not how many Christians go through their whole life as Christians and go to their grave and do not grasp this concept. We give our lives to Christ and then we try to fix who we were when instead we should shed it like skin. Do you see the difference? The butterfly isn't trying to fix the cocoon. The butterfly isn't trying to be a better caterpillar. It's something new. The butterfly doesn't emerge and then crawl around on the ground. It's something new. When you give your life to Christ, You don't try to become a better version of the old you. Like, you don't become Lucas 2.0. Okay? Like, that is the most annoying thing in the world because it's not like an update, okay? You know, you guys get Microsoft updates, you get Google updates, you get Apple updates, and what it is, it's like, well, it's not a new thing. We're just trying to fix some of the things that go crazy, okay? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a brand new thing. A brand new thing. But most of us, we don't get that. And I'm telling you, this might be the thing that holds you and holds me back most in our walk with God. Because we let other people remind us of our caterpillarness. I just made a new word. It's not an actual word. I'm not going to tell you how to spell it. Our caterpillarness, okay? Dude, do you remember that time we ate that leaf together and we gave each other a high 155? Like, we don't do that anymore. And you're like, yeah, I know, I can fly. Like, nobody does that. I bet the other caterpillars probably call the butterfly a poser and make fun of them because they're like, oh, you're not doing all the things that we used to do. And they want you to crawl around with them. But that's not what you're made to be anymore. You are a new thing. You have a new life. I told you I'd kind of give you a little bit of my past. I grew up as a preacher's kid. My dad was a pastor. And that's not as churchy as it sounds. My brother and I did some pretty crazy things. My brother actually went through a really rough time in high school, and he kept getting deeper and deeper. And he got into some drugs and some alcohol, and he kept getting deeper and deeper into that stuff because once he started, basically everybody kept reminding him that he had already done it. My brother always went by his last name, so people come and go, hey, Motley, you want to come to Beecher Road with us tonight? And Beecher Road was where we had road parties. If you live in the sticks, okay, kids go out to a gravel road and park their cars with their high beams on, and they party. And it's super lame. But they think it's very cool. Okay? And it's very cool if you get an invite out to Beecher Road. And they would say, hey, Motley, do you want to come out to Beecher Road with us? Because, they're ready to go party. And he says, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And they would basically sit there and go, well, you were just there with us last week. What, do you think you're better than us now? What happened this week that you feel like you can't come out and hang out with us anymore? Do you not like us anymore? Are we not your friends anymore? You think you're stuck up? And they'd suck him right back in. Because they would remind him of who he was. They'd say, don't pretend. And I had friends that were girls that gave their lives to Christ after they had lost their virginities to their boyfriends. And their boyfriends were not super understanding about that because they had already become accustomed to living a certain way. And when these girls, when they tried to emerge from that, when they tried to leave that behind, but keep that relationship, it didn't work. Because they were constant, it was like a butterfly being in love with a caterpillar. You are a new creation. And we all struggle with living a new life because we're reminded of our old one. And truthfully, we miss it. We miss doing some of the fun stuff. You guys ever seen movies where the main character has amnesia? Like Born Identity kind of stuff? Finding Nemo? Yeah, like Finding Dory. Where the main character has amnesia, they don't remember who they're. And there's like a really old movie called Overboard, for some of you parents. Yeah. The Momentum, where the guy's trying to figure out who he is. And those people, I never get it because those people, they start the movie with an absolute clean slate. They never made a stupid decision in their life that they can remember. They don't have any ex-boyfriends or girlfriends. They don't have any drama. They don't have, they don't even know who they are. They can pick any name that they wanted. But they spend the whole movie trying to find out who they were, trying to reconnect with who they were. It's like if you could wake up tomorrow and have selective amnesia, like if you could just wake up tomorrow and just forget a certain part of your life, okay? Like that embarrassing thing that happened that you wouldn't even remember it, or maybe there's somebody in your life that you'd rather forget, all right? If you could wake up tomorrow and have selective amnesia, maybe it would be that you forget your name and you get to pick a new name. What would that thing be? I want you to think about it for a second. If you could wake up tomorrow and have selective amnesia, What was it that you just need a clean slate about in your life? And I want to tell you that in Christ we get that. Every day. We are brand new. I told you last night, you don't have to be who you were last year. You don't even have to have the same friends. You don't have to do the same things. You don't have to have the same labels. You can get spiritual amnesia. And you can get kind of a social mulligan, for those of you that golf. You guys know what a mulligan is? It's like when you step up to the golf tee and you swing, and the ball just kind of goes, and you go mulligan, that means you get a do-over. Okay? Christ offers you a spiritual do-over. And he offers it every day. So, our observation number one is that when we become in Christ, we become a new person. We leave the old thing behind. We shed it like skin. But, like I said, I promise that we do science, right? So, science is first observation, okay? And data gathering, and we just looked at some of that. But it's not science unless we poke it, okay? So we're going to poke it a little bit. We're going to investigate a little bit further, okay? So, Verse 17, it says, "This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, and the new life began." So what does this sentence beg you to ask? When it starts off with, "This means," what do we want to know? What's this? It means that something came before it, right? It says, "So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. At one time, we thought of Christ merely from a human point of view, and how differently we know him now." So the observation, too, is this. I am new because my perspective is new. Obviously, we are not shedding our physical skin like snakes. And if you are, you need to go to a hospital, okay? Like, that's not good. All right, so if anybody does that this weekend, just send them to me, and I'll take them with them. All right? But what really makes us new is our perspective. Last night we talked about our thoughts and our nature and our actions, and this is about our perspective. You guys know what it means to have a perspective? What does it mean?
Point of view.
A point of view. Absolutely. Like when we do perspective drawing, you have to pick a point of view to draw from. It's a perspective. It's like, it means it's the way that you interpret what you see. So two people can look at the same thing and interpret it differently. It's like when I have three little girls, but two of them are 8 and 7, and they come to tattle on each other a lot. And I know you guys would never do that to your brothers and sisters, but they come and tattle on each other a lot. And if you ask thing one, she comes up and says, "My sister hit me for no reason." And she's got these big crocodile tears, and she's like, "I didn't do anything, and she just hit me in the stomach." And I'm like, and then I asked thing two, and she was like, "She was bothering me, so, I got up to move, and when I moved, I rightly brushed her in the face as I left the room in total righteousness." And they each have their own perspective on how the event happened. They were both in the same place, experienced the same things, saw the same exact data, and they interpreted it differently. Perspective is not an exact science. There's data, but there's also interpretation. You see, it doesn't stop with just that. You judge, okay? You judge things. You question things. You evaluate things. And then you come to your hypothesis or your conclusion. Everyone has a perspective. So, what Paul says is we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view, a human perspective. We've stopped scoring each other based on a human score. Like, have you guys been watching the Olympics? Anybody? All right, we have a few people that like the gymnastics routines. You see Michael Phelps swim? Michael Phelps is incredible. I don't know if you guys saw this. He swam and won a gold medal in a race, and literally got out of the pool, went and talked to the media, went and got his gold medal, and jumped back in the pool and won another race. It was incredible to watch. But we've been kind of showing our girls, I haven't watched the Olympics since 96, but we've been showing our girls, and it was really funny to watch them watch the open ceremonies because I had to explain what was happening, because they did a whole history of Brazil and this whole thing, and like Giselle Bundchen was like walking at one point, and like they were like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "She's a model," because I didn't want to explain Victoria's Secret to my 7-year-old, and I was like, "She does that for a living. She walks." And they were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, she walks for a living. She walks down and back, and people pay her to do that." And they're like, "I want to do that for a living." And I was like, "I don't think I want you to, but." So eventually I had to just explain, I'm like, she's Barbie. She's like Barbie. That's what. But we also watch a lot of gymnastics. I don't know if you guys watch the gymnastics. They do this crazy thing in gymnastics where they take, I don't even know what the event's called, but they take a running start and they do a backflip onto a springboard, a vault. And they hit a table and they like shoot up in the air and do 3 somersaults and 8 twists and a backflip and land. And they're supposed to I guess they get deducted points if they don't keep their toes together. But I'm watching that, and when they showed it regular speed, I don't even know what happened. I couldn't tell you how many twists, how many flips. I don't care. And the judges are judging that at that speed. Like when you watch it on TV, they roll it back for you and they play it in slow motion. They go, "Oh, you can see here that she did 3 minutes," and they explain it. "Oh, her leg separation was 2 inches." And the judges catch that in real time because they don't get to watch it in slow motion. And they award them points and deductions. And I'm sitting there going, it is so fast that I cannot track what is happening. And I only get a quick glance. And I think this is what Paul is talking about. Have you guys ever made a determination or a judgment on someone based on a quick glance? Have you ever had somebody do that to you? You came up and told one bad joke and they were like, "I'm not hanging out with that kid. That kid's weird." You meet somebody for 5 minutes and you get judged. You need to take a closer look. Paul says that the change that happens in us is that we get a new perspective. We get to take a closer look at people the way that Christ does. He even says that we used to see Christ from a human perspective, but now we see him differently. We don't just see Jesus as a good teacher or as a Jewish rabbi or a carpenter from Judea. When we put on a new perspective, when we put on, let's say that you got new glasses, you get a new perspective. It reveals that Jesus was so much more in all aspects of his life and ours. And you can alter your perspective. You can choose to see people differently. You guys play Pokemon Go, right? Yeah. I know, I've almost hit you in the street. I was driving down Main Street, and I kid you not, probably you guys, ran out in front of my car. And I said some things that I regret. But here's the thing about Pokemon Go, and here's the thing I think that you can teach about this, and it's only redeeming quality. But you can look out in an open field, and there's nothing there. But when you look through your phone, what happens? There's Pokemon. There are things there that you did not see before. And that is your choice. You downloaded the app, you turned on your phone, maybe you got an alert, and you said, "Okay, I'm going to go look for this." You can do that with your life. You can look at somebody who bugs you and take a closer look at them and find something redeeming about them, something that you guys have in common. You can look at something. Paul says that we get a new life and you become a brand new person. You can choose to alter your perspective. I told you guys last night, I like to teach you with cliffhangers. I told you last night I would finish my story about what happened to me in junior high, about poor crybaby Lucas, who was, a little bit nerdy. So this sweet, bleary-eyed little kid went home, and I went home Friday after I embarrassed myself in front of the whole school. And what I hadn't told you is that one of the reasons that I kind of choked is that I had been under a lot of pressure. I felt, because I was a pastor's kid, that I had to be somebody that I wasn't. And so I had spent a lot of my time pretending to be somebody that I wasn't that person. I wasn't the person that sat neatly in a pew and held my hands in my lap and just listened to everything that I was fed. I like to question things. I like to be a little irreverent. And I had been pretending for a while, and I actually at that point had insomnia for a couple of months. So I was a pretty tightly wound kid, okay? I was 13 and couldn't sleep for about 2 months. And you know what I told my parents? Nothing. I didn't tell them anything. I thought they had their own problems. I didn't think they'd understand. I thought they would tell me the thing I told you last night, where they would minimize it and say, if you just relax, I know you're stressed out about junior high and your Lego situation, but if you would just relax, you could go to sleep. And I couldn't turn my brain off. I didn't tell my parents anything. I did what you guys probably do. When your parents come home and say, how was school? What do you say? Fine. Yeah, good. That's all right. Like one-word answers. And my parents, when I came home that Friday night, they had gone to my brother's basketball game. And so I was home alone, and I remember wearing just some gym shorts, and I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror, and I really hated what I saw. I hated what I was going to have to face on Monday. I didn't like who I was spiritually. I didn't like who I was physically. I didn't like really who I was emotionally. And like we talked about last night, I felt consumed. And I felt overwhelmed over my own failure. And it felt like that moment was going to define me. And if you guys haven't had this moment yet, you will. And it's going to sneak up on you. That you come to a moment and you think, this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And that's a scary moment. And I was going to be the kid that cried in front of the school for the rest of my life. And I really wanted it all to stop. And I sat for about an hour in my bathroom floor, and I tried to figure out how to kill myself without hurting everybody around me. And I'm not telling you this to glorify this, because I'm telling you to even contemplate suicide is the most selfish thing that you can possibly ever do. And that, in and of itself, was what prevented me from doing it. I tried to figure out, how could I do this and not have my parents blame themselves? How could I do this and not have them think, oh, it's all their fault, we should know. I tried, I sat there and really thought about it. And I was 13 years old. I was 13. And I look back at that now and think how silly that was. And I look at back all those things and I think, man, I was stressed out about things that didn't even matter. But at that time, I felt consumed. And the answer, if you're wondering, is of how to kill yourself without hurting the people around you, is that it's impossible. Like I said, committing suicide is the most selfish thing that you could ever do. Because it hurts everybody around you that loves you. And for you, it's a way out. And I remember that moment that I can't explain it to you other than I broke on the inside. I just broke. I was so tightly wound, it's like when you take a rubber band and you keep stretching it and stretching it and stretching it, and at some point it just snaps. And I broke. And I prayed to God that I didn't know what else to do. And I told him about the pressures that I felt and the embarrassment and the failure. And I remember him speaking to me. I remember him, I know you guys sometimes don't take prayer seriously, but I'm telling you, God can speak to you in an audible voice if you listen to him. And he spoke to me, and I felt like what he said touched my brain, like my whole body relaxed. Because what I heard him say to me is, that's not what I see. Like I was telling God about all the things that I hated about myself, and he just looked at me and goes, that's not what I see. And I need you guys to know that there are adults in this room, and God himself and your parents, whatever you feel, that's not what other people see. And it was funny because he kind of recalled to me all the things that other adults had spoken into my life. All the compliments that I had gotten, all the things that adults had high hopes for me. And I had the feeling that I could be so much more than who I was. And I cried one more time. I curled up in the fetal position in my bathroom and just cried because I felt such relief. And I fell asleep, which I hadn't really slept in 2 months. And it freaked my parents out, and I had to tell them what was going on because they came home in the morning and found me asleep on the bathroom floor. And so I had to kind of catch them up with what was going on. And it was this realization that I want you guys to feel too, is that I didn't have to be this little thing that crawled around anymore. I could be different. Like, that's what gave me the strength to get up and go to school on Monday, because I knew that people could make fun of me, but that's not what God saw. And that's what gave me the strength that when people tried to make me feel pathetic about what happened to me, or they were like, oh, you cried. I'm like, yeah, that sucked. That That was awful. Like, I hope I don't ever do that again. But who knows? Because I really didn't care what they saw, because I knew what God saw. I had a different perspective. My perspective was new, and it wasn't a change, it wasn't a tweak, it wasn't an update, it was a brand new perspective. Like I said before, it was maybe 2 days and people didn't even bring up again, because it wasn't fun for them, because I wasn't sad. It didn't bother me. I wasn't nerdy little Lucas anymore. I was strong, and I started to become noticed. I was a new person. And I stopped evaluating myself as humans do. And when I started doing that, so did they. And so if you guys want to be seen as different, if you guys want other people to see you differently, you've got to start seeing yourselves differently. You've got to choose to have a new perspective and see yourself the way that God did. We get a brand new perspective. And I just want to go a little bit further back in that verse, and I'll stop, and I'll wrap up. 2 Corinthians 5:13-15 says this, and I love the way this starts. If it seems we are crazy, because you are, especially you, Josh, you're crazy. If it seems we're crazy, it's to bring glory to God. And if we are in our right minds, it's for your benefit. Either way, Christ's love controls us. Since we believe that Christ died for all, we also believe that we have all died to our own life. He died for everyone so that those who receive his new life will no longer live for themselves. Instead, they will live for Christ, who died and was raised from the dead. So the last observation that I'll give you, and I'll wrap up, is my new perspective is that it's not about me. You could write down in your notes, OMG, it's not about me, if you want to. I wrote that here. And I know it's shocking, because a lot of us, that's what we want. We want it to be about us. And we say, oh man, if it was just about, like, I want people to look at me. And it starts when we're really young. Like, my daughters are always like, Dad, look at me. Look what I can do. Look at me. Okay, I'm going to put on a party. Hey, I'm going to put on a show for you. Hold on, let me go practice. Hey, look at me. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I got it. You put your face underwater at the pool. I am so proud of you. Okay? I am always looking at you. If you think I'm not, and I'm wearing sunglasses, just know I am always looking at you. Okay? So this week, like I told you, we were watching the women's floor gymnastics thing. And our girls, like, it was at the tense point where the American competitors were up, and they were like down by like tenths of a point, and they were getting ready to do the floor show. And my girls got on the floor and started spinning on their butts, yelling, "Look at me! Look at us! Look what we can do!" And I was like, look at Simone Biles is doing 4 backflips in the air without touching the ground. But congratulations on your butt spin. All right? Like, I give our children human awards every day, and that might be bad parenting, but I like doing it. Unica says things to me like, "Dad, I'm almost done with my dinner," which means that she's taken 2 more bites than the last time that she updated me. And I'm like, "Well, so you're not done with your dinner, right?" She's like, "No." And I'm like, "So you just ate some more food?" She's like, "Yeah." You got your human award for the day. Congratulations. Congratulations on being a human being. So if I give you guys human awards this week. But what she wants me to do is look at it. Right? That's all she wants. She wants some verbal affirmation. She wants me to go, "Honey, those were the best bites that I've ever seen. That was so great. I'm so proud of you. Later on when you brush your teeth, I bet it's just going to be spectacular." Right? People are doing this. They want attention. That's fine. People use social media to do it. People are doing it on the Olympics for social media. People are like, body-shaming Olympians. And I'm like, look, man, you're probably at the Dairy Queen. And this kid is 16 at the Olympics. And you are not at the Olympics, okay? Like, people are using social media to try and draw attention to themselves by belittling the fastest people in the world. I'm like, maybe that's such a great point. So, if you would, I'd like you to repeat after me. It's not about me.
It's not about me.
Just one more time. It's not about me. There you go. Paul says, it may sound crazy, but what we do in our new life is about bringing glory to God. We serve at church because it's not about me, it's about God. And I can be nice to people who have a crappy attitude towards me because it's not about me. I can make new friends And I can be brave enough to try new things. And if I'm doing new things and hanging out with new people and acting in a new way with new thoughts and a new attitude and a new nature, I have become, in fact, a new person. And I have a new life. We can start seeing other people and other things and situations with a new perspective, so we start becoming a new person. And last night, I told you that you have permission to become a new person. But this morning, I saw you guys hanging out with the same people you were hanging out with in came with. Be new. Try something new. You don't have to be the same person that you came here as. And if you want to be new, you've got to change your perspective. You've got to change the way that you see things. And I'll tell you, one of the best ways to change your perspective is to hang out with somebody that doesn't have the same perspective that you do. Today we're going to play a lot of games. We're going to have like 5 hours of free time. I would really be disappointed if you spent all that free time with the same people that you always spend that free time with. Try something new. Hang out with somebody new. Adopt a new friend into your group. Change your perspective. We got you something to remind you of that today as you're going out. Can I get a couple adults to help me pass this stuff out? We got you